Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. I have so many conversations with people who, when I first talk to them, they tell me the hardest part about dating is finding where the good men and the good women are, right? This has always been the case, no matter who I talk to. And I'll be honest, this is probably the biggest mistake most of you are making, in the fact that you are so focused on the man or the woman and thinking that that is the problem of why you're not meeting anyone. And sure, there's truth to that, and that you have to put yourself out there and research places and ways to meet people. But that's not the real reason. The real reason you are not meeting the right people for you is because you are not focused enough on you. And I'm saying this with all love. And I'm also saying this to empower you, because there are things that you can actually do to change the results or lack of results in your dating life. And one thing that is a common thread, I will say, in many of my conversations that I've had is the fact that most people just don't feel sexy. And for women, it's exuding feminine energy, and it has another layer to it. So here's the thing: feeling sexy and feeling feminine are actually two different things. And often people get confused by the two terminologies. So feeling sexy, the way I see it, isn't just about the clothes, which a lot of you think about, but it's about how you feel in your body overall. So even if you didn't have the dress on, even if you didn't have the lingerie on, do you feel sexy in your body? It's the way you carry yourself and being in touch with that kind of feminine flair and magnetism. Now, femininity is more about the receiving energy. It's a slowing down. It's a letting go of the need to control. I call it the feminine flow. So to exude the feminine energy and let go of kind of that take charge energy when dating, you focus on embracing softness, the receptivity, and allowing yourself to really be guided. Now, this means shifting from a controlling mindset and body language to one of trust and openness within the dating dynamic. Now, it's not like you're intentionally trying to control people or do things, but a lot of you are caretakers and sometimes over caretakers. And a lot of you are busy business people. And with that comes a lot of masculine energy. And so it's hard to sometimes just let go and relinquish that to be in the feminine flow. And feeling sexy and feminine play a crucial role in dating because it boosts your confidence overall. It's going to increase attraction and enhances overall your well-being. And that there just leads to more opportunities for even more enjoyable interactions everywhere you go. I always say flirt and have fun with everyone. And when you feel attractive, you will come across differently to others. And when you feel good about yourself, you radiate positivity and energy, making you more desirable. Now, this can lead to more successful interactions and a greater likelihood of you meeting someone special. But you got to start with you. So you see, when you shift your energy, people will automatically just flock to you rather than you kind of trying to go after it or chasing it or just even trying to figure out where the singles are. Do you see? It's a completely different mindset. But I will say, this whole concept can be overwhelming and confusing and exhausting, especially when you are new to dating, or maybe you're dating later in life, or quite honestly, maybe you just never really felt it at all. Like you never felt sexy ever. So today on the line, I have a great woman who struggles to date due, first of all, to the lack of experience and having only a couple of long-term relationships in her life. Now, we just had one call together, and after that call, she discovered that, yeah, she really just hasn't been paying attention enough of her, like her body language. She never really considered herself to be sexy. And she would love to learn how to be more comfortable being playful and flirty and fun, but she just doesn't know how. So, my job today is to hopefully help her to start seeing herself as sexy. Because, as I always say, it's not until you look in the mirror and you see someone sexy is when others will too. So, welcome, Stephanie. Are you there?
Hi, I am here.
Hi. So, that beginning that I just kind of talked about was inspired by our conversation because I think there's so many people who just kind of struggle with not only just not having a lot of dating experience, but really just not focusing enough on them. And so I'm so happy, first of all, that you came on, but second of all, it's even more special because you're a podcast listener. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, okay. So anyway, why don't you just tell everyone just a little bit about yourself, just around your age and just some of the dating struggles you have been having.
Okay, I am 52 and I have been divorced for 9 years. I've had one serious relationship since my divorce that lasted about 3 years. Of course, we broke up almost 7 years ago. So it's been a long time since I've had
Oh,
a
yeah.
relationship. Um, Dating, I've probably in the last 6.5 years have gone out on maybe two or three, 4 dates, maybe. Not very many. And I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and dating is very hard. It's very challenging. Um, and so, yeah, I don't. And from our first conversation, I realized I really, I guess, don't know how to date because, I got married when I was 27, 27, 28. I got divorced, so in my early 40s, and the dating was much different when I was in my 20s,
Oh,
much
yes.
different. um, so yeah, after that conversation, I realized, oh my goodness, I really don't know how to date. And my two of my good friends got me turned on to your podcast, and so I've been listening to it for a couple months now and getting little nuggets. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really clueless. And at one time, of course, when I was in my 20s, I thought, oh, I went out on dates all the time. I had a very fun, active social life and this and that. But it's different now because I'm not looking to get married. I'm not looking, so it's just it's mind boggling to me.
Yes. Well, and I'm glad you're talking about it because so many people struggle with that because it is different and there's been like a time warp that's happened and now you're trying to go out there dating later in life, but the world looks different, you feel different, and it's hard to know where to go and how to be and what to do and all of those things that you're saying. But the other thing that I remember from our conversation is this kind of notion of being sexy. So can you talk a little
Hmm.
bit about that? Like,
So, being 52, I am in menopause, and going through menopause. Well, I shouldn't say going through because I'm in it. It has brought on a whole bunch of new experiences and feelings, I should say. Like my body is somewhat shifting a little bit. And so, um, and I'm short. I'm like 5 feet tall, I think. I mean, barely 5 feet tall. I've got curly hair and I wear glasses. I do have contacts, so I can wear them. But, um, and I think because of all of that, I don't feel sexy. I have had I have had men in the past tell me that they thought I was sexy. Um, but I also go, going through after the divorce, it was a very, very it was a horrible divorce. It went on for 3 years and I was very kind of beaten down. And
mm,
so kind of recovering from all of that, I lost, I think, that sexiness. And when you're, I work full time. I was raising my daughter, by myself. I was also in the whole process, also working through and getting my PhD. So I was really busy. I haven't focused on myself in quite some time. So I have forgotten really well, because sexy at 52 is a lot different than 22. So it's been hard. So no, that's kind of where I think I'm at right now, is kind of
Uh-huh.
struggling to where, trying to really see where I'm sexy at my age, at my current time, being
Mhm.
in menopause and things are shifting and, dealing with that.
Yes. No, that's real though. And I'm really glad like we're having this conversation. I don't think it's talked about enough, in ways of how it impacts the way we see ourselves, the way we think, because the truth is like we could do a whole call on dating strategies and how to put yourself out there and like and I have had podcasts like that, but I actually want to go back to this because it doesn't matter how many strategies we put in place. If you're not feeling good about yourself and in your
Hmm.
body or sexy, it's going to be even more frustrating, right? Because it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. I can put you on an island full of eligible bachelors and you're still not feeling good, you know?
Yeah.
So this is important. Well, let me ask you, because we didn't really deep dive in our last conversation. Tell me a little more about your upbringing in ways of just like, feeling like a sexy woman or like what was the messages growing up around that?
Um, Gosh, that's a good question. So my parents are baby boomers. My dad is now 75. My mom is 73. We had that very traditional. Well, my dad was a surgeon, so he was working all the time. My mom was a nurse, so she worked a lot. But very traditional roles. My mom cooked dinner, clean the house, because my dad was always gone. And my
Mm.
mom and I were not very close. I don't know if it was that, that typical teenage girl fighting with the mom all the time. Um, and so I don't know, like, we didn't really ever talk about like looks, or I don't know. And I
Mm.
hate to say this, I'm not telling my parents this, but I don't think they ever really told me that I was pretty. There was always the focus on getting good grades in school, because I wasn't a great student, so there was a lot of
Mhm.
emphasis on that. Um, and my sister was 4 years younger than me, and so she was the athlete. Like, so there was a lot of focus on her and her sports. Yeah, but there really wasn't a lot. I mean, looking back on it, there really was not a
Mhm.
lot of emphasis on that, any of that kind of stuff. I don't know that I can
No,
remember.
yeah. Stephanie, that's really important because, what got reinforced early on in those formative years was more of your intellect and achievement and, the more the cerebral kind of stuff, right?
Hmm.
Versus the emotions and it sounds like at least what you're saying and just kind of like yeah, like the fashion and being pretty and feeling attractive and talk about like that kind of thing and how that interplays with, you growing as a woman.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, we didn't, as soon as I was old enough to work, I bought my own school clothes, because my parents would buy me like one outfit, and it
Oh.
was pretty much what they felt that I needed. Um,
Uh-huh.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
So then how did that impact you like when you were maybe a teenager in developing as a woman and like did you try to date boys and like
Hmm.
how did that all play out for you?
I was not allowed to date until I was 16.
Oh.
And then when I did go out on dates, my dad had to meet him.
Mhm.
Um, and we weren't allowed to be alone, even though obviously we did. There were, I mean, a
Ah.
teenager is going to, we're going to sneak. But yeah, that was the big thing. And I mean, I did have a couple of um, boyfriends in high school. I always ended up getting my heart broken. They always broke up with me and went out with somebody else.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that was it. My dad was pretty, I actually don't even remember my mom having so much of an opinion as was my dad. He's like, you're not dating until you're 16. I'm going to meet this person. You're only going to be allowed to do so many things. So, yeah.
Mm. See, and the other thing around that, I wondered, was there any kind of message around, well, don't be too sexy, you don't want to show too much. Like, was there any kind of
Oh,
that?
absolutely.
Aha.
Absolutely. I can distinctly remember, even when I can remember when I was 21 and I was home from college and I was going out with my girlfriends. And I remember my dad saying, "You don't have enough clothes on." I can remember him making a comment about that. And definitely when I was 16, oh yeah. I mean, when I was a teenager, yeah, my dad, they had a definite opinion about what I should be wearing. I mean, they didn't tell me like, you have to wear this, but they were very, you did not wear short shorts, you did not wear, you didn't show
Right.
skin. Um, and I remember this, um, when I think it was in like fourth or fifth grade, my dad had made a comment that he would not have fat children, and that has always stuck with me.
Wow.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that, and then yeah, he was very, yeah, I could not wear, yes, about clothes stuff.
How do you think kind of like what you're talking about now affected you in just you feeling like a sexy woman like later on?
Um,
Have you ever
I
thought about
honestly, no, I've never thought about that.
that? Hmm.
I've never thought about that. Hmm. I
Something to
mean,
think about. Like everything starts from something, and
mm-hmm,
it's not to put blame on your parents or anything. It's really it's like kind of detective work. It's like figuring out, well, where did this all come from that you, Stephanie, don't see yourself as a sexy woman? And if there's been messages and shame and conservativeness with it all, like growing up, then no wonder it might be hard for you to even know what that feels like, what that looks like, right? Like
mm-hmm,
you were given opposite message,
mm-hmm,
right? And
yes,
and not only that, love was expressed in your family through what you achieved,
mm-hmm. Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
it definitely was.
yeah, it wasn't about giving you compliments on, oh, you look so pretty today, or, in fact, there was some sort of negative comment about, the weight thing with your dad. So
Mm-hmm,
that this is really important. I just want you to kind of absorb this for a second and think about because it's just old programming. That's all it
mm-hmm.
is. It's like a computer default. We all
Right.
kind of default back to just what we know. That's all it is. And I think with you, like looking at moving forward, is reprogramming this part of you so that you start seeing and understanding what even a sexy woman is about.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
What are you thinking? I hear the wheels turning.
Well, yeah, just trying to think, okay, so what does that mean for me?
But what does that mean? Right. It's like, well, how do I do that? What does that mean? Well, um, let me ask you this. Was there ever a time that you did feel attractive, at least? I'll use the word attractive.
I've actually kind of always thought that and my friend is going to kill me because I always say, I'm like, well, I'm not ugly. And so my friends always yell at me, stop saying that. You need to be
Yeah.
nicer to yourself. So I think that was always kind of my approach is that, well, I'm not ugly. And, um, you know, when I was in high school and growing up, like I was always um, the not pretty friend, I guess. So I've never actually been referred to as pretty. I've always been, well, you're cute.
Mhm.
You're cute
Mhm.
because I'm like 5 feet tall, and
Right.
back in the
Right.
day, I was like 100 pounds, and I was cute. Where all of my friends, they were developed and they had the bodies, and they were also very very probably very sexual in high school, and I was not. So,
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, by the end of this call, I want you starting to call yourself sexy Stephanie. There's no more cute Stephanie anymore. Okay. She's left the building. Cute Stephanie is for like little cute Stephanie when she was a little girl. But when we step into the dating world, you're sexy Stephanie. And that's a
okay.
different mindset. It's a different energy. It's a different way that you see yourself.
Hmm.
And I'm going to give you some ideas of how to do that. But the other question I have is that talk to me. Well, in the other call you kind of but I want everyone to hear more about like your wardrobe. Tell me about like if you were to go on a date, let's say tomorrow, like what kind of clothes do you have right now that you would put on that you would consider date worthy?
Um, I have I do have a black dress that I got probably about a month or so ago that I love. And when I've worn it once or twice, and I do feel very pretty in that. So I probably would wear that. Um, and since June, I think we talked about this in our call, but since June, I've lost like almost 20 pounds. And so I'm in the process of, trying to be healthier and feel more comfortable in my skin. Because, I mean, there was a time like when I was married that I at least felt attractive. So I'm trying to kind of get back there. So I do have a couple of dresses that I don't know if they're too matronly. my, my daughter says it's really pretty, and she will tell me, she's like, if I put something on, she's like, no, you look like a teacher. Go change. so
Okay.
um, so I
Hmm.
have that, and I guess I have I have a pair of jeans I would wear
Okay.
with some. I have some really sexy shoes. I'm trying to step out of my box because I do feel
Hmm.
more because I have lost weight, and I hate to tie how good I feel to how much weight I've lost, because I know it's about more than that. But I mean, that's just the reality of it, is that I'm starting slowly to feel more comfortable in my
Yes.
body. And so, I did actually last week, I bought myself a pair of high heeled, like cowboy boots, these really kind of sexy cowboy boots. And I really love them. So I'm hoping to go out
Ooh.
on a date at some point soon because I want to wear those.
Oh, wait. Okay. Wait. No, 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 no. You're not going to wait till you go out on a date. I'm going to have you wear those boots. Okay. We're putting together a costume is what we're
Okay.
doing.
Okay.
It's the sexy Stephanie costume. And because I want to hear like when you're in this and by the way, this is not superficial. And what you said is so true. How we feel in our body directly is correlated to just how we view ourselves and how we feel inside. And it doesn't matter what weight it is. If you're not feeling good in it, it doesn't matter what weight is good or not, right? Because there's
Mm-hmm.
people who are heavier than you who feel fantastic in their body. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not the point. It's how you feel. So I'm glad you're starting to feel better. Now it's like embodying that and practicing being in that energy around men. So before we even get to dating, like, oh, I hope I have boots to go on a date with the boots. I'm going to have you go out in the world, like on a date with yourself with those boots and be around men and just like really like almost prance around. So when tell me like of all the items that you said, what's like the ones that you feel like the most sexy in? Like is it the black dress? Is it the boots kind of thing? What's the
oh
most
goodness.
yeah.
What do I feel the most sexy? I don't probably probably the boots
Boots,
because they're just
fantastic.
sassy. I love
Okay. Oh,
them.
see, and like I love that giggly girl, like that little like naughty giggle that you just did. Okay, we just struck a chord. Love it. Okay. So and by the way, men love boots. They go gaga over the boot, like just like they do with heels and dresses. And if you're a man listening to this, you can back me up. So I would love for you to wear the boots and put something on that's very intentional with it. If you have the jeans, I I just want the jeans to fit you really well, not like
Hmm.
have baggy jeans that are of your old body, like something that's, and if you don't, you, even leggings would work, you know? If
Hmm.
you even had like a dress where you could put the boots in it, like even better, because now you're, doing both. And there's certain dresses that would look adorable with cowboy boots. Like they're like denim dresses, for instance, would look really cute with a cowboy boot kind of
Hmm.
thing. I want you to get, like, do your hair nice, puts on some maybe like red lipstick, some nice
Hmm.
makeup.
Okay.
And I just like going to a gym, right? Like we go to the gym to exercise our body. I am going to have you go to a couple different places and just practice prancing around in your boots. I would love for you to go to Home Depot, for instance, and wear that, right?
Okay.
Because men are going to be there. Like I want you going into a man's department in a department store.
Okay.
Men are going to be there too. It could be like a car dealership. Think about where men are hanging out, and for a full month, at least twice a week, just do that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you want to like bump it up a little bit, I'd love for you to even smile, make eye contact, and say hi to the men who are noticing you in the boots and just absorb how it feels to be looked at like that.
Okay.
And really try to hold space for it. Be intentional. Think about it. It's like I'm just giving you an exercise to go to the gym for like a half hour, an hour, see what it feels like. And then when you go home, I want you to journal about it. I want you to journal like how it felt to be looked at that way. I want you to even journal when like men didn't check you out, and that's fine too. Like there'll be all different kinds of experiences with it. But I
Hmm.
just want you getting comfortable feeling sexy and walking around in a public place feeling that way in a
Okay.
very intentional way too.
Okay. Excuse me.
So how does this feel? Like what are you thinking so far with this?
I'm thinking it feels awkward, but at the same time, I'm totally up for it. Because
Good.
what I've been doing hasn't been working, so I'm up to try it. I'm up to try it, so I will do it.
I love it. I love it. And if there's any other kinds of situations, like even if your friends have ideas for you, and if you want to go out with a coworker, or girlfriend or something like that. And play with your costume. Like maybe then another day try the black dress. Use your daughter as your stylist for now
Hmm.
since I can't be there.
Okay.
And see if she can help you and put together some things and tell her what you're doing. Like she will completely be rooting for you.
Hmm. Yes, she
It
will.
sounds like she's a cheerleader. So that'll be great. And the other thing that I want you doing is that every day I want you to create what I call a brag book. Okay. And what that is that I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to brag on yourself on something that you just love about yourself. First and foremost, I want you to at least pick something physically about you that you like. It could be a toenail, it could be a tooth. I don't care. Give me something. And it has to be something that you truly believe is true. Like it can't be something, well, my friends say this and that. And I also don't want you writing it in a negative. So you're used to saying, well, I'm not ugly. I
Hmm.
want you to rewrite that script and saying, I am attractive and this is what I like. I love this. I love that. I love my butt. I love my boobs. I love my teeth. I
Hmm.
love it, whatever it is. And then, even like at the end of the week, just read them out loud in the mirror to yourself. I know this sounds super silly and weird, but like I we have to get rid of this programming that
Hmm.
you're just cute little Stephanie that doesn't know anything. I heard that little like naughty cute giggle when I said sexy Stephanie. Like there's a
Uh-huh.
part of you that wants to have her come out. Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So try those two things. The other thing that I would love for you to explore is tell me about do you ever dance?
Oh, I love to dance. I
What kind
dance
of
around my
dancing?
house.
Oh, what kind of dance do you like to do?
Oh, really, kind of any kind of dance. I mean, I've line danced in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, from the time my daughter was real little, I'd say, "Do we need a dance party?" And so we would turn up the music really loud, just any, and just dance
Oh,
around the house.
okay.
Um, so really anything. I do love to dance.
Okay, that's awesome. I'd love for you to create, well, first of all, I'd love for you to create just like a playlist of songs that get you going, ones that make you feel alive. Um, if there are songs that make you feel sexy, like even do a sexy playlist, so when you're dancing, you're kind of like dancing in a seductive way. So it sounds like the dancing that you're used to is more just like fun, like jumping up
Yes,
and down and like the
yes.
line dancing, and that's more like popcorn fun.
Hmm.
I would love for you to explore the sensual part of you in your body and dancing. And two ideas. One is see if there's a salsa dancing class that you could take. I
Mm,
love salsa dancing. Everybody who comes to my retreats, they know this because I always have like a salsa dancer come in and we practice that. It's twofold because one, it's a very like sexy dance, but number two, you have to be in your feminine because you have to let the guy lead.
mm,
So I want you to understand what it feels like energetically for a man to really lead you, to touch you,
okay.
and to be in that space. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, that would be with a man. The other idea would be like belly dancing, pole dancing, like things that you could do solo that are a little more sensual in nature. Zumba, even. Zumba's fun because that has a fun aspect, but it also has some, Latin type of beat to
Hmm.
it. I want the hips moving.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. Yes.
So we're getting your costume in place. We want you just super comfortable, like working on your body language and being comfortable in your body as a sexy woman around men. I want you also pulling in and really like focusing more on your body. You're very cerebral, and I'm trying to get
Hmm.
you, and you were also conditioned and reinforced from your parents to be cerebral.
Hmm.
I want to tap into the other side, and this is where love and dating and flirting is, and that is in the body. It's in your emotions. It's things that
Hmm.
cause excitement and sensuality.
Hmm. Okay.
How does that sound?
I think it sounds fun.
Okay.
I think it sounds fun and daunting at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I was hoping you would say that because I wouldn't assign you this if it was something easy to do, right? Because that's not going to shift you, like you said before. I wanted to find something that excited you that would help kind of you getting tapping into more of this part of, you.
Hmm.
Because again, I don't want to put you on a dating regimen until you start feeling better about you and condition yourself to get out of this cute Stephanie thing.
Okay.
You're sexy Stephanie.
I'm gonna write that on my bathroom mirror.
Okay, I was just gonna say it right, and write it everywhere. Like put sticky notes and put it all over. Put it on your computer, put it on your fridge, put it on your mirror, and just constantly say to yourself, "I'm sexy Stephanie." So even on this on air, I'd like for you to say, "I'm sexy Stephanie because," and I want you to pick two things that you feel are sexy about you or even just beautiful, like kind of like what would be in your brag book.
And you want me to do that now?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. I'm sexy Stephanie because I have a pretty smile and I have pretty green eyes.
Okay, I love that. Now, let's work on your tonality because your tonality is cute, Stephanie. You're like, I'm I'm sexy Stephanie because I am, yeah, it's very like cute. Can you slow it down and be a little more seductive in your voice and say, I'm sexy Stephanie because, and say a little bit softer. Try it again.
I'm sexy Stephanie because I have pretty green eyes.
And a sexy smile.
Oh, and I'm sorry, and a
It
sexy
was,
smile.
that is so good. I thought you were doing like a dramatic pause for a second. I'm like, oh my God. No, Stephanie, that was so much better. Did you feel that difference?
Well, I blushed, so I must have. Yes, I
Good.
did. I did feel that difference. Yeah, like I said, I think I feel my cheeks feel hot. So, yeah.
No, but see, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I want you getting used to this. And like when you're in the mirror and you're saying these things, like work on that. You could even talk in a recorder, like on your phone, the voice
Hmm.
recorders, and work on that because you are used to even like the tone is a nonverbal signal.
Hmm.
And you kind of talk a little bit fast and a little bit better, da, 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 but like just slowing down and being intentional. And like as you're walking around in Home Depot with your boots, you can say hi, just like practice it with like smile and fun. And Stephanie, this is all just for fun. Like there's no
Hmm.
right, there's no wrong. Blush. I think it's adorable that you're blushing, like because we're striking on something that's hard for you, but this is exactly what we need to help you with, right? To get
Hmm.
over.
Yes. Yes, for sure. Mm.
How do you feel?
Um, I mean, I feel good, and I'm still a little. No, I don't want to say embarrassed, but because
Mhm.
this is new. I don't know. I'm excited, but then nervous as well, and
Yeah.
I'm try to be sexy Stephanie.
Wait, what? I didn't hear you. You said you.
I said I'm gonna try and be sexy Stephanie. No, I'm going to be sexy Stephanie.
Yes, you are going to be. And you said, like, do you see, like, even just saying it a little more, like, in an articulate way so that we could hear it? Like, you were skipping over it before. A little more like sexy stuff. Like, you wanted to almost, like, get it over with by even saying it. Like, even just getting comfortable with saying sexy Stephanie.
Hmm.
I know it sounds so crazy and little, but it's so big in the scheme of things. And honestly, this is so much easier than even thinking about, well, where do I go to date? And like
Hmm.
you're not there yet. Like give yourself a break. You never saw yourself this way.
Mm-mm. No, I sure haven't.
And I think just it was really powerful, like connecting the dots of where it all started, knowing that it just wasn't something that you grew up with.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, and the good news is that it's never too late to learn. Never too late to learn this stuff. Like it's just a skill. I always joke, I can't teach IQ. You already got that. But I can teach you how to be in your feminine, to own yourself, to have fun, to have joy, and just be in love with yourself and your body. And that's just something that you need practice on. And like I said, do this for a month and journal about it, write about it, reflect on it,
Hmm.
and then see how you're feeling in a month. And then if
Okay.
you're ready, then you're ready to up the ante.
Okay. I can do that.
Oh my gosh. And then if you ever are able to do a virtual makeover with me at some point, like that would be super fun in the future, even
Okay.
and then we can work on your clothes and all of those things. So, well,
Okay. I'm working on that too.
yes. Yeah, no, and that's great. And those are things that you can do for yourself in the new year as you make new goals for yourself. So, any kind of last thoughts or parting words, as you're thinking about it all?
Um, Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm I'm actually excited. I am.
Oh.
Because I've always, I don't know, I am excited because I do want to feel better about myself because I feel like there's a lot in here. I
Hmm.
just need to with your help, figure out how to get it out,
Yes.
so to speak.
Unleash the sexy
Un-
Stephanie.
Unleash sexy Stephanie. That's going to be my new thing. Unleash.
Yes, unleash the stuff. And, be really fun to like say that as you're dancing around, like with your playlist, like anything that you can do with all the tools that I gave you and integrating them. And,
Mhm,
I promise you, you're going to be a different person even in a month, and then we'll just
mhm.
keep going with it all. So, thank you
Okay.
so much for coming on and being vulnerable to the process. I kind of made you do some silly, fun things, but again, you're not alone. I think you've helped so many people listening to you right now, just like you've been listening this whole time. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate your help.
Thank you. And thank you for joining me today, you listening. This has been the Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, of course, Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. And if you want help feeling sexy in your body and work on your feminine energy, if you're a woman and that's what you desire, hop on a private call with me to map out a plan to do that, just like I did with Stephanie. And here's the thing, if you want to take it one step further, ask me about my upcoming retreat for women. It's called Inner Spark and Soul Retreat, focusing on nurturing your body, mind, and soul. It's exactly the stuff that we just kind of went over, but we'll be doing it in person. And there's going to be a ton of different activities and experiences, and it combines rejuvenating wellness practices and exploration of feminine energy and self care, all the things we need to do to feel like a sexy woman, to be dateable. And if you're interested, just go to askkimmy.com or click the link you see in the show notes to book a private call with me and we can see if it's a fit. So remember, you're one click away of possibly changing your life. And, working on you is working on your dating life. It's not separate. It's all for now.